Hello, book lovers and English learners, and welcome to Lidis Book Club podcast, your weekly dose of reading in English. I'm Lydie Bureau, I'm an English teacher in France and also the founder of Lidis Book Club, a book club for learners of English and non-native English speakers who want to improve and maintain their good level in English. In this book club, I host live readings and live discussion workshops on adaptations and classics of literature and also contemporary novels in their original text. I also tend to prioritize books that are written by women. Each month we read and explore a different book for all levels of English. For the next 2 months, we are going to read for the next month, because now March is done. We are going to read the original text of this book. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, published in 2022. For this book, you need a strong B2 upper intermediate level in English or C1 advanced level. So with the members of the book club, we've decided to read this book because it is the sequel book of our last read, which was here. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover as well. So it just made sense to us to read the sequel book right after the first one. So if you don't know anything about this book or Colleen Hoover, I invite you to listen to the podcast episode 30, which is available on this YouTube channel, or on the podcast on Spotify as well. So today it is session 9, and we are going to read chapters 17 and 18. If you would like to attend this live reading with me, live on Zoom, you just need to subscribe to the newsletter of the book club. It is free, so you just need to subscribe to the newsletter and you will get the Zoom link to join me live. And this way you will be able to, at the end of the live reading, you'll be able to ask me any questions that you might have about the book club, or comment on any part of the chapters that we've just read, and give your impressions. Also, on the Saturday, 26th of March, I will host the second live discussion workshop, which is only accessible for the members of the book club. So to be able to attend those discussion workshop and practice your speaking skills, and also improve your fluency and get motivated to keep reading and read more in English, you just need to become a member of the book club. So you can just go to lidisbookclub.com, or you click on the link in the description. You can find all of the links in the description of this video. And I assure you that joining this live discussion workshop will significantly improve your speaking skills, your confidence, and also will keep you motivated. You can read the testimonials of the members of the book club on my website to give you an idea of how they feel. And it's also a fantastic way to meet other members of the book club and share similar taste in the books, and in reading. And last thing, if you're not sure about joining the book club yet, or if you can't commit, then you can purchase any live workshop series that we've done before on the live workshop store of the book club. So you can find the link in the description as well. You just you select the workshop that you want. You don't need to become a member, an official member of the book club. You will be part of the community. As soon as you subscribe to the newsletter, you become part of the community, but you're not an official member. But this way, you have an idea what it's like to be in the live discussion workshop, and you can also this way read the book at your own pace and just listen to our conversation. So when you check out, when you purchase the workshop, and on your checkout, when you check out, you will be asked to create your own login, which will give you a private access to the videos of the workshop, discussion workshops, and you will be able to enjoy the sessions and the book at your own pace and whenever you want, basically. So that being said, we can start the session. So before any in any live readings, I always like to recap the chapters that we've read in the session before. So last Saturday we read chapter 15 and 16. So this way, if you haven't had the time to read those chapters, then it's a good way to be up to date. And if you have read them, but you just need a little bit of reminder to refresh your minds, then that's perfect as well. Right. So chapter 15, it's Atlas, the narrator of the story. And here, in the first part of the chapter, well, the beginning of the chapter, he recalls how he became a restaurant owner and how this opportunity of buying a restaurant in Boston came as something that wasn't expected. He came as a surprise or just an opportunity that came to him because one of his friend's parents were retiring, and Atlas had the money. He had just finished, or he was still in the military, and when he visited the place, and when he finished, he just decided to buy the place, although it wasn't something that he had planned. What he wanted was first to work in a restaurant or as a chef to gain experience, and then eventually buy a restaurant. But the opportunity came to him, um, and that's the reason why he doesn't fully own the success, or he doesn't fully enjoys the success of Bibs, because he didn't build the restaurant from the ground, and he has this imposter syndrome. So that's one of the reasons why he decided to open Corrigan's, his second restaurant, and this way feel that he had created something from the ground, and he's, I guess, is more he feels more proud in a way, because when he bought his parents' restaurant, the restaurant from his friend, the restaurant came with the staff and all the equipment and everything, so it was kind of easy in a way, although take over a restaurant is not necessarily an easy task, and it's not always a success. So when you take over the business of someone else, it doesn't mean that it's going to be successful. So I think um, Atlas needs to give some credits to give himself some credits, because it's not an easy task to take over stuff and a restaurant that's already in place and customers who are used to a certain type of menus and foods. So he he should feel proud, actually, and give himself some credit for the accomplishment of the success of his restaurant. So he came about to this to tell this story about the way he feels um, towards the different ways he feels towards Beeps and Corrigans, and how, and in a way, why Corrigans is more protected in a way, because Corrigans has a lot of security cameras and it's more secure, whereas Bibs is less protected, and he invested a little bit less. And that's also why Bibs was easy to vandalize. So is at Bibs at this point in the story, because he's waiting for this kid to come back. Uh, and and he eventually arrives. So he's reading some of Lily's journal entries while he's waiting for this boy to come back, and eventually arrives, and Atlas finds out that it's what he suspected, that that this boy was his new little brother. So Josh, his name is Josh, and he's barely 12 years old, and he is already acting in a way that at 12 years old not shouldn't, but he is holding a lot of anger, and um he's behaving like a bad boy, and it seems like he has seen a lot for his age in a way. And he's not scared. He's not scared at all. When he sees him, he doesn't run away or anything. He's just stands there, and Atlas comes to him, and 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 how to describe. So the boy is about to paint, or to spray in red again an insult or something, and with a hairspray paint, and Atlas um, just comes toward, bumps into him, or just came to him, sorry, and said, "Oh, you're holding it wrong." And straight away the boy stops, and they start talking. Although the boy is very withdrawn and not friendly at all, then slowly, gradually, he he opens up to Atlas. And eventually Atlas takes him back to his place. And this leads us to discuss chapter 16 now. This chapter is told by Lily, and it's Sunday. And on Sunday, well, in the morning, I think. Yeah, on Sunday morning, her mother calls her to ask her whether she could have Emerson this morning or for a couple of hours. And Lily is actually glad and thrilled to give it to her mother, to give her to her mother. And once her mother and her boyfriend, her partner, are gone, Lily calls Atlas, calls him back because she has missed his his phone call, and she calls him back as a video chat, like a FaceTime thing. And she sees that Atlas seems a little bit tired. And at some point, she sees a little boy in the background. And this little boy, and she thinks that it is somehow Atlas's son, or she is very skeptical about the whole situation. She's wondering what's going on, and also learns that she notices the kitchen is not the same that she knew when she went to Atlas to right after Ryle had hit her. And she learns that Atlas had moved out from that house, and but he's very brief about that. And she notices at the same time that there is this little boy behind him, and and she's wondering who the hell, who is this little boy. And straight and immediately Atlas kind of clear things out, and explains to her the whole story with his mother, and the fact that he just learned the day before that he had a brother called Josh, and that he's actually the little boy that has been sleeping in his restaurant and eating the little croutons and other snacks stuff. And this is about it. And yes, now Atlas feels that he has a responsibility towards this towards his brother, and he knows that if this little boy stays with his mother, he's gonna end badly. He's not gonna. He will probably turn in the wrong direction, or do bad things, and maybe become, I don't know, drug dealer or gangster or whatever. But he's not gonna turn well. And he's already 11. He's 12, and he's already vandalizing stuff, and his restaurant, and who knows what else he's been doing, and sleeping in the streets, different places, and squats probably. So this is definitely not the life for 12-year-olds. So Atlas hopes that he his mother will let him have custody of him somehow. I don't know. Let's read the next chapters now. Chapter 17, Atlas. Josh doesn't trust me, but I'll wear him down. I'm willing to bet he doesn't trust anyone, so I'm not taking it personally. If his childhood is anything like mine was, I'm sure he's been toughened at the age of 12 in a way that no kid should be familiar with. As much as he glares at me with distrustful eyes, I can also sense that he's curious about me. He doesn't ask many questions, but he watches me in a way that makes it obvious he has a million questions on the tip of his tongue. Whatever reason, he keeps swallowing them down. He's probably wondering why I went so easy on him last night after finding out he's the one who damaged my restaurants. He's also probably wondering why I didn't know about him and how I turned out so vastly different from my mother and Tim. Whatever he's wondering, he's attempting to keep a tight lid on his expressions. I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable, so I've been doing most of the talking while he eats breakfast. It's not that hard. I have just as many questions for him as he does for me. It's one of the reasons I couldn't sleep last night when we finally made it to my house. I kept listening for the sound of him trying to sneak out of the house. I was honestly shocked. It was still here this morning. As much as my questions are probably annoying him, I can remember what it was like to be 12. All I wanted was for someone to be interested in who I was. Even if they were faking interest. If his life is anything like mine was, he's gone 12 years being ignored, and I refuse to allow him to feel that way under my roof. But I've only been asking him safe questions. I'll ease I'll ease into the more difficult stuff. Josh eats one thing at a time. A biscuit first, then bacon. He's cutting into the pancakes for the first time when I say, "What are you interested in? Any hobbies?" He takes a bite, and one of his eyebrows raises a bit. But I don't know if it's because of the food or my question. Why? Why am I asking you? What are you interested in? His neck is stiff when he nods. I've missed 12 years of your life. I want to know who you are. Josh breaks eye contact and forks more pancakes into his mouth. Manga, he muses. That surprises me, but thanks to Theo, I actually know what manga is. What's your favorite series? One Piece. He shakes his head, erasing that answer. No, Chainsaw Man is probably my favorite. That's about as far into that conversation as I can go without sounding ignorant. We can go to a bookstore later today if you want. He nods. These are good pancakes. Thanks. I watch him take a drink of his juice, and when he sets the glass down, he says, "What are you interested in?" He nods toward the plate. "Other than cooking?" I don't know how to answer that. Most of my time is given to my restaurants. Whatever time I have left over is spent on house repairs, laundry, sleep. I like the cooking channel. Josh chuckles. That's sad. Why? I said, besides cooking. It's hard. It's a harder question than I thought. Now that it's being thrown back at me. I like museums, I say, and going to movies and traveling. I just don't do any of those things. Because you're always working? Yeah. Like I said, sad. He leans over his plate to catch another bite of pancake. The get to know you questions are backfiring, so I cut right to the chase. What was your fight about? He shrugs. Half the time, I don't even know what the hell I do wrong. She just gets mad for no reason. I can relate to that. I let him eat for a while before I pose another question. Where have you been staying? Josh doesn't look at me. He scoots food around on his plate for a moment and then says, Your restaurant. His eyes slowly journey back. His eyes slowly journey back over to mine. You have a very comfortable couch in your house, in your office. You've been sleeping inside the restaurant? For how long? 2 weeks. Okay. I'm in shock. How have you been getting in? You don't have an alarm at that one restaurant. And I finally figured out how to pick the lock after a few tries. Your other restaurant was too your other where no, sorry. Your other restaurant was too hard to get into, though. You know how to pick. So I guess to pick a lock is to unlock a lock. To unlock some, yeah. How to pick is probably like to open a lock. I can't help but laugh. Brad and Darren are going to love saying, I told you so. Why'd you go from sleeping there to vandalizing it? Josh looks at me reluctantly. I don't know. I guess I was mad. He pushes his plate away and leans back in his chair. What now? Do I have to go back to her? What do you want to happen? I want to live with my dad. He scratches at his elbow. Can you help me find him? I want to find him about as much as I wanted to find my mother, which is not at all. Do you know anything about him? I think he lives in Vermont now. I just don't know where. When's the last time you saw him? A few years ago, but he doesn't know where to find me anymore. Josh looks every bit his age right now. A fragile kid abandoned by his father, but refusing to lose hope. I don't want to be the one to rip that from him. So I just nod. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. But for now, I need to help your mother. I need to let your mother know you're okay. I have to call her. Why? If I don't, this could be considered kidnapping. Not if I'm here willingly, he says. Even if you're here willingly, you aren't old enough to decide where you want to live. And right now, your mother has legal custody of you. He growls, visibly irritated. He stabs at his breakfast with a scowl, but doesn't take another bite. I step away to call Sutton. I unblocked her number after she left my restaurant last night in case she needed to get in touch with me. I dial her number and put the phone to my ear. After a few rings, she finally answers with a very groggy hello. Hey, I found him. Who's this? I briefly close my eyes while I wait for her to wake up and remember her son is missing. After a few quiet seconds, she goes, Atlas? Yeah, I found Josh. I can hear rustling from her end, like she's hopping out of bed. Where has he been? I really don't want to answer that. I know she's his mother, but I feel like it's none of her business. where he's been, which is an unusual opinion to have. I'm not sure where he's been, but he's with me now. Listen, I was wondering if he could stay here for a while, maybe give you a break. You want him to stay there with you? The way she puts the emphasis on that last word makes me wince. This is going to be harder than I thought. She's the type of person who fights for the sake of fighting, no matter what outcome she really wants. I could enroll him in school. I could enroll him in school and make sure he attends. I offer up. Take the truancy hit of you. Take the wait. Oh wait. No, sorry. Take the truancy hit off you. It's quite a truancy. I think that she had some debt or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. I think she had some debt though. I don't know. Or money that she owed to someone. It's quite on her end. Like maybe she's contemplating that. Such a martyr, she mutters. Bring him back, now. She ends the call. I attempt to call her back 3 times, but she sends the calls to voicemail. That didn't sound promising, Josh says. He's standing in the doorway of the kitchen. I'm not sure how much he heard on my end, but at least he couldn't hear her end. I slide my phone in my pocket. She wants you back today, but I'll call a lawyer tomorrow. Hell, I'll call a lawyer tomorrow. Hell, I'll call Child Protective Services if you want me to. There's just not much I can do on a Sunday. Josh's shoulders drop when I say that. Will you at least give me your phone number? He asks that like he's scared I'm going to say no. Of course, I'm not going to abandon you now that I know you exist. He picks at a hole in his sleeves, avoiding eye contact with me when he says, I wouldn't blame you for being mad at me. I cost you a lot of money. You did do that, I say. Those croutons were expensive. It's a funny word. You did do that, I say. Those croutons were expensive. Josh laughs for the first time this morning. Dude, those croutons were fucking delicious. I groan. Don't use that word. The Rise-More Inn is clear on the other end of Boston. So, put some light in. The Rise-More Inn is clear on the other end, on the other side of Boston. It takes us 45 minutes with traffic to get there, and it's not even a weekday. When we pull into the parking lot, Josh doesn't immediately get out of the car. He just sits quietly in the passenger seat, staring at the building like it's the last place he wants to be. I wish I didn't have to return him to his mother. But I put in another call to my lawyer friend this morning after talking with Sutton. He said if I want to go about this the right way without her having ammunition against me, the only thing I can do is return him. And then, if I want to take her to court, he said I need to get a lawyer and go through the process. And then, if I want to take her to court, he said, I need to get a lawyer and go through the process. Anything done outside the process could be a mark against me. Apparently, You can't just kidnap your sibling, even if you know they're in danger. I wanted to explain all of this to Josh in more detail to let him know I'm not just abandoning him with her, but he's so hell-bent that he's going to live with his dad. I'm not sure he even wants to live with me. I'm not sure I'm prepared to raise a little brother, but as long as I'm alive, there is no way I can willingly leave him in this in this woman's permanent custody without at least trying. Until I can figure out what to do next. I don't want him to find himself in a situation where he has no food to eat or no money to extend their hotel stay. I pull out my wallet and hand him a credit card. Can I trust you with this? Josh looks at the credit card in my hand and his eyes grow a little wild. I don't know why you would. I've spent the last 2 weeks trying to destroy your businesses. I push the credit card toward him. Use it for basic necessities. Food, minutes for your phone. We stopped on the way here and got him a prepaid phone so he could stay in touch with me. Maybe some new clothes that fit. Josh reluctantly takes the credit card out of my hand. I don't even know how to use one of these. You just swipe it. But don't tell Sutton you have it. I point at his phone. Hide it between your case and your phone. He pops the case off his phone and puts the credit card inside of it. Then he says, "Thank you." He puts his hand on the car door. "Are you coming to talk to her?" I shake my head. It's probably best if I don't. It'd probably just make her angrier. Josh sighs and then gets out of the car. We stare at each other for a few seconds before he finally closes the car door. I feel like such a dick bringing him back here. But I have to do this the right way. If I don't return him, she could file charges on me. Sorry. So file charges means that she could talk to the police, complain against her own son, who just brought him back, her son, her other son. And knowing her, she probably would. It's best if I just leave him for today, and then as soon as the week begins tomorrow, I can make phone calls and figure out what I can do to move him in with me. I know if he stays here with her, he isn't going to have a chance in hell. I lucked out. Fine. I lucked out finding Lily. She saved my life. I was lucky. I think I lucked out is another way, maybe an American way, to say that I was lucky to find Lily. She saved my life, but I'm not sure there's enough luck in the world for both of us to be saved by a random stranger. I'm all he has. I remain in my car as Josh makes his way across the parking lot. He walks up the stairs and knocks on the second door from the end. He looks over his shoulder at me, so I wave right as the door swings open. I can see the rage in Sutton's eyes all the way from my position in the parking lot. She immediately begins yelling at him, and then she slaps him. My hand is on the door handle before Josh even has a chance to react to the slap. Sutton's hand is now gripping Josh's arm as she yanks him into the hotel room. I'm several feet away from my car when I see him trip over the threshold and disappear into the room. I'm taking the stairs 2 at a time, my heart racing. I reach the door before she even closes it. Josh is still trying to scramble to his feet, but she's hovering over him, scolding him. I could have gone to jail, you little shit. She has no idea I'm behind her. I wrap my arm around her waist and pull her away from Josh by picking her up and dropping her onto the mattress behind me. It happens so fast, she's too shocked to react. I help Josh to his feet. His phone is a few feet away on the floor, so I grab it and hand it to him, then urge him toward the door. Sutton realizes what's happening and she jumps off the bed. She's following us out the door. Bring him back! I feel her hands on me now. She's yanking at my shirt, trying to get me to stop or move aside so she can get to Josh. I urge him forward. Go to the car! He continues toward the stairs, and then I stop walking and spin around to face her. She sucks in a quick gasp after seeing the absolute fury in my eyes. Then she slaps her palms against my chest and shoves me. He's my son, she yells. I'll call the police. I release an exas and I release an exasperated laugh. I want to tell her to call the police. I want to scream at her, but most of all, I want to get Josh away from her. She's not going to ruin his life on my watch. I don't even have the energy to say anything to her at all. This woman isn't worth my words. I just walk away, leaving her screaming at me like old times. Josh is already sitting in the front seat of my car when I make it back. I slam my door and grip my steering wheel with both hands before starting the car. I need to calm myself down before I get back on the road. Josh seems unusually calm for what just happened. It makes me wonder if that's an average interaction between them, because he isn't even breathing heavily. He's not crying. He's not cussing. He's just watching me. And I realize how I react in this moment is quite possibly something he'll absorb for a lifetime. I slide my hands down the steering wheel and calmly exhale. Josh's cheek is red, and there's a small gash on his forehead that's bleeding. I retrieve a napkin from the glove box and hand it to him, then flip the visor down so he can see where to wipe. I saw her slap you, but but where'd the cut come from? I think I hit the TV stand. Slow and steady at last. I put my car in reverse and back out of the parking lot. Maybe we should swing by the emergency room and have them check out your cut. Make sure you don't have a concussion. It's okay. I can usually tell when it's a concussion. I can usually tell. I clench my jaw as soon as he says that. I realize I have absolutely no idea what kind of hell this kid has already been through. And I was about to send him right back into the fire. Better to be safe, I say. But what I mean is better to get this documented in case we need proof of her abuse at a later date. And that's the end of chapter 17. That was a tough one. Okay, let's continue. Chapter 18, Lily as the narrator here. It's been 5 days since I've seen Atlas. I try not to stress over how busy we are because I know it'll get better once I'm comfortable enough to let him spend time around Emmy. But the responsible thing to do is to let Emmy's father know when I start seeing someone else before I bring anyone around her. It's just frustrating that the responsible thing to do is also a terrifying thing to do. I plan to put it off for as long as possible. There is no shame in being patient. The flower shop is understaffed this week with Lucy's upcoming wedding, and Atlas has been dealing with legal stuff regarding custody, running two businesses, and taking care for a kid. On top of all that, the fever my mother had last week turned out the full-fledged flu. So she hasn't been able to watch Amy at all. I've brought her with me two out two out of the 3 days I've worked this week. It's just been a week from hell. Too busy to even get a drive-by hug. Ryle and Marshall took the girls to the zoo today. Amy is more than likely too young to enjoy it, so it should make for an interesting day for Ryle. The custody exchange was fine this morning, even though we haven't spoken since our conversation on the roof last week about her middle name. He was a little curt, but I prefer his curtness to the subtle passes he sometimes still makes at me. Alyssa is working with me today since she doesn't have Riley. She just returned with coffee now. We're caught up on everything. Oh, sorry. She just returned with coffee now that we are caught up on everything. We got all our orders out with the delivery truck an hour ago, so this is the first time we've actually had time to speak in private since my date with Atlas last week. Elisa hands me my coffee and then taps the mouse on the computer to check for new online orders. What are you wearing to Lucy's wedding? I ask her. We're not going. What? We can't. It's my parents' 40th wedding anniversary. Riley and I are doing that surprise dinner. She told me about that, but I had no idea it was the same day as Lucy's wedding. It's the only evening Riley could get away, she says. I deflate. I hate Riley's schedule. I know it'll get better over time when he's no longer one of the newest surgeons on staff, but even when his hours aren't making custody difficult, he's making my best friend choose between a wedding and her parents. I know it's not Ryan's fault, but I like silently blaming stuff on him that he has no control over. It feels good. Does Lucy know you aren't going? Alyssa nods. She's fine with it. Two less mouths to feed. She takes a sip of her coffee. Are you taking Atlas? I didn't invite him. I thought you and Marshall were going, and I didn't want to ask you and Marshall to lie for me again. Felt bad that I asked Alyssa to watch Emmy last week for my date because I knew she'd have to lie to Ryan if it came up. And she did end up having to lie to him. When are you planning to tell Ryan you're back on the dating scene? I groan. Do I have to? He'll find out eventually. I wish I could just pretend I was dating some guy named Greg. I don't know that he'd be as threatened by a Greg. Maybe I don't have to be specific about who I'm dating. And he won't be as angry. I'll ease him into the knowledge of it being Atlas after a decade or two. Elise laughs, but then she looks at me curiously. Why does Ryle hate Atlas so much anyway? Didn't like that I kept mementos from back when Atlas and I dated. And Elisa is staring at me, waiting. What else? I shake my head. There is nothing else. Oh, I shake my head. There is nothing else. What do you mean? Did you cheat on Ryan with Atlas? What? No. God, no. I never would have done that to Ryan. I'm a little offended by her question, but then again, I'm not. Ryan's reaction would naturally make anyone question what led to that kind of reaction. Elisa's eyes are swimming in puzzlement. I still don't get it. If you weren't actively cheating on him with the guy, why does Ryan hate him? I release an exaggerated sigh. I've asked myself that I've asked myself that a million times, Elisa. He makes an annoyed face. She makes an annoyed face only siblings could reserve for each other. I never wanted to ask because I thought you were ashamed that you cheated on my brother. I just didn't want to tell and just didn't want to tell me. I haven't kissed Atlas since I was 16. Roy just couldn't handle that my past sometimes crept into my present in an absolutely platonic way. Wait, you haven't kissed Atlas since you were 16? She latched on to the absolute wrong point of this conversation. Not even on your date last week? We're taking it slow, and that's fine by me. The slower we take things, the more time it gives me before I have to break it into your brother. I think you should just rip off the band-aid. She points at she points at my phone on the counter. Text right now and tell him you're dating Atlas. He'll get over it. He doesn't have a choice. This is something I need to tell him in person. You're too considerate. You're too naive. If you think Riley's going to get over it, you don't know your brother very well. I've never claimed to. Elisa sighs and drops her chin into her hand. Marshall told me he told you had cheated on him. I'm so glad she's changing the subject. Yeah, that was a shock. Drunken mistake. I was 19. Nothing counts before you turn 21. I laugh. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. She hops on the counter and starts swinging her legs. Tell me more about Atlas. Tell me like I'm your best friend and not your ex-husband's sister. And we are back to this conversation. That was a quick break. You sure this is awkward for you? Why? Because Ryan is my brother? No, not awkward at all. He should have been nicer to you. And then you wouldn't have to date Greek gods. She wiggles her eyebrows with a grin. So what's he like? He seems mysterious. He's not really. Not to me. I can feel the smile wanting to spread across my face. So I let it. He's so easy to talk to, and he's kind. He's Marshall kind, but not as outgoing. He's more reserved. He works a lot, and I have Amy all the time, so it's been hard to make time for anything together. Plus, he just found out he has a little brother this week, so his life is kind of chaotic right now. Text and phone calls are our primary source of communication, so that sucks. Is that why you keep checking your phone? I can feel my cheeks warm when she says that. I hate that she's noticed. I've tried my best to be in inconspicuous with this. I don't want anyone to know how often Atlas and I text, or how often I think about texting him, or how often I think about him. Maybe I'm scared to talk about it with Elisa because I don't want to allow myself to be happy without about Atlas until I know Ryle isn't going to be furious over Atlas. I receive a text right in the middle of that thought, and it takes everything in me to fight my smile when I look at my phone and read it. Is that him? Elisa asks. I nod. What's he saying? He asked me if I want him to bring me lunch. Yes, Elisa says emphatically. Tell him you're starving and so is your friend. I laugh and then reply to Atlas with, could you bring lunch for two today? My coworker gets jealous when you bring me food. He immediately replies with, be there in an hour. When Atlas finally shows up, both Elisa and I are busy with customers. He's carrying a brown paper bag. I motion for him to wait by the counter, so he stands patiently while we finish up. Elisa is finished first, and for at least 5 minutes, she and Atlas are having conversation I can't hear from this side of the shop. I'm trying to give my attention to this customer in front of me, but knowing Elisa is speaking freely to Atlas has me more than nervous. I never know what's going to come out of her mouth. Atlas looks pleased, though. Whatever she's telling him, he's enjoying it. It feels like a decade later when I'm finally free to join them. Atlas leans in and greets me with a kiss on the cheek when I reach him. His fingers graze my elbow for several seconds. After our greetings, before he pulls his hand away, that simple physical gesture sends a current through me, making it hard to focus without being too obvious that I get giddy around him. Alyssa smiles at me knowingly. Adam Brody, huh? I have no idea what she's referring to until I look at Atlas and he's grinning. I had a poster of Adam Brody on my bedroom wall the first time Atlas came to my house. I shove Atlas's arm. I was 15. Sorry. He laughs, and I love that Alyssa is being nice to him. I know she has every right to give complete loyalty to her brother, but it's not in her to be rude to people simply because other people don't like them. She's not a ride or die friend, nor she nor is she a ride or die sister. That's what I love the most about her, because I'm not ride or die either. If you do something stupid, I'm going to be the friend who tells you you're doing something stupid. I'm not going to join you in your stupidity. I want my friends to treat me the same way. I prefer honesty over loyalty anyway, any day, because with honesty comes loyalty. Thank you for lunch, I say. Did you get Josh's school situation settled? Atlas has been working to enroll him in a school more local to where he lives. Rather than the school, Josh was in all the way across town. I did. Fingers crossed they don't look too hard. They don't look too hard into the enrollment forms I had to fill out. I lied a little. I'm sure it will be fine, I say. I can't wait to meet him. How old is he? Elisa asks. He just turned 12, Atlas says. Wow, Elisa says. Worst age ever. But at least you don't have to pay for daycare. Silver lining. Elisa snaps her fingers. Speaking of children, Lily won't have Emerson next Saturday because she's going to a wedding, a night out all by herself as a single adult. I roll my head and look at her. I was about to invite him. I didn't need you. I didn't need your help. Atlas perks up. A wedding, huh? A sly smile plays on his lips. You plan on sleeping through it? I immediately blush and that makes Elisa curious. Atlas turns to her and says, she didn't tell you she slept through our first date? Sleeping through. Oh, sorry. I'm not even looking at Elisa, but I can feel her staring. I was tired, I said, excusing the inexcusable. It was an accident. I absolutely need more of this story, Elisa says. She fell asleep on our drive there. Slept in a parking lot for over an hour. We never even made it to the restaurant. It made it into the restaurant. Alyssa starts laughing, and I kind of want to crawl under the counter and hide now. Who's getting married? Atlas asks me. My friend Lucy, she works here. What time? It's at 7. Nighttime wedding, if you can swing it. I can. Atlas does this thing with his eyes where he briefly looks like he wishes we were alone. It's sending tingles of warmth crawling down my spine. I need to get back. Enjoy your lunch. He nods at Alyssa. It was nice officially meeting you. You too, she says. He gets halfway to the exit when he starts whistling. He walks away in a cheerful mood, and it makes my heart swell to see him so happy. I have no idea if his good mood has anything to do with me, but the teenage girl in me who was worried about him all those years ago is extremely pleased to see him doing so well in life. What's wrong with him? When I glance at Elisa, she's staring curiously at the door Atlas just disappeared out of. What do you mean? Why isn't he why isn't he married? Why doesn't he have a girlfriend? Hopefully have a girlfriend soon. I can't say it without smiling. He's probably bad in bed. Maybe that's why he's single. He's definitely not bad in bed. Her jaw drops. You said you haven't even kissed him yet. How would you know? As adults, I say, you forget I have a history with him. He was my first, and he was very, very good. And I'm sure he's gotten even better. Elisa stares at me for a beat, then says, I'm happy for you, Lily. But she's frowning. Marshall is going to like him too. He's so likable. She says that it's she says like she says that like it's the worst possible outcome. And that's a bad thing. I don't know if it's a good thing, she says. This whole thing is muddled. You know that. I don't need to explain it to you, but I can absolutely see why you're hesitant to tell Rye. Knowing his ex-wife is sharing a bed with that bloke of perfection has to be extremely emasculated. I raise a brow. Not as emasculated as beating your wife should feel. I'm a little shocked when the words come out of my mouth, but I can't take them back. I don't think I need to, though, because luckily my best friend isn't a ride or die sister. Rather than be offended, Elisa agrees with a nod. Touche, Lily. Touche. And that's the end of chapter 18. I hope you enjoyed this live reading. And the dynamic between Elisa and Josh is very nice to see or to read, I would say, not to see. And also the fact that they meet means that seeing Lily and Atlas might their relationship might evolve perhaps quicker than Lily expected somehow. Who knows? Well, I hope you enjoyed this live reading. Thank you so much again for watching, listening this live reading. Please, if you enjoyed, leave me a comment, or if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave me a comment. I'll be happy to answer you. And of course, if you want more content like this, then just follow this um, channel. I I wish you a beautiful end of the day, and I hope you'll be able to join me next time live on Zoom. I will be live next tomorrow, sorry, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central European Time, a morning reading. We will read chapters 19, 20, 21. So three chapters tomorrow. See you soon and have a lovely evening. Bye bye.